Good morning, everybody. So, today we are going to expand my PSP Go storage. Now, I know it's a little bright, kind of reflecting off this. I have my lights pointed down so I can see what I'm doing. So, it might blow out the image a little bit. I apologize, but I need to see what I'm doing. Um, Also, I have my mic now in a permanent position, one where I don't have to constantly unmount something, remount the mic. It takes like 30 minutes for me to do it. So this morning I went and found some wood, chopped a block off, found a bracket, mounted a block to the front of my desk. That way I can attach the boom arm to it. And now I have my mic right just off camera. See, there it is. So, and I've done an audio test, so this should be decent sound quality here. We're going to get into this. We're going to add this micro SD card adapter to my PSP Go. These things cost, I don't know, 13, 14 bucks. Now, I got it out yesterday when it came in and was looking at it from Genius Game Mods. So it comes with the pieces of tape that you need, and then the adapter itself. So, for those of you that don't know, and you probably do know if you're watching this video, this is going to replace the proprietary storage that Sony used for these. So, this will slot in to where those SD cards should go, and this will sit in the back and take a micro SD. And I just threw a generic Walmart brand 64 gig card in it. They recommend going up to max 128 for speed and whatnot, but 64 should be fine. Now, I do already have ARC 4 permanently installed on the internal storage on this. We are going to add this, and yes, my hand will be getting in the way the whole time. You know what I didn't grab? Okay, no, I have a couple tools. All right, case screws are gonna go there. Should be what, these 4 back screws. And then I believe there's 2 screws on top. I believe the screwdriver bit I'm using is a little too big. Either that or this screw just doesn't want to come out. Yeah, stubborn screw. Oof. That screw looks like it's messed up. It is a little bit. It's not bad. Last thing you want to do is strip one of these tiny screws out. You strip one of these screws out, you're done. Better get happy with the 16 gigs internal. Okay, so we got the 4 back case screws out. Now we're gonna get these 2 top ones. Now I always, I've known how to do this mod forever, but to be safe, I always go watch another video, and let's see, the frame screws are gonna go over there. I always separate the screws out so I know what went where. Alright, here we go. Alright, tiny frame screws. Alright, so now we should be able to pop this back off. just almost jumped off. I'm gonna try and be easy here. And ta-da! Alright. So I believe all these little plastic pieces that are sticking out, we have to cut those flush. And then these, let's see here, these plastic pieces right here, we have to cut those flush. And you gotta watch out for like this ribbon cable and all that. So let's start with that, and I had to go pick up a pair of flush cutters because I didn't have a pair. So let's start damaging the shell. There's one. Wow, when you have the right tools, it seems like it goes really easy. There's two. You want to get them as close as you can down to the shell. So go over them. Make sure you get it down there. You want as much room as you can get. Okay, let's get this one. Try to make sure you're only getting the plastic. I think we gotta get these two. Clean this off. After I clip them, I'm going back over them. Probably doing more than I need to, but I'm not sure, but I just want to make sure. I know this little square piece has to go for sure. I didn't want to have to go pick up flush cutters for this. I was going to use... I couldn't find a pair, and I'm sure there's a pair here somewhere. I just couldn't find them. But I was gonna just like pull out a pair of fingernail clippers and use those, but all the fingernail clippers I could find were angled, kind of dented in so it wouldn't get close enough. Alright. I think that's pretty close. I don't like how bad I'm scratching up that copper, but it should be okay. Alright. So we got all that clipped off. Now for the part I really don't want to do. Clipping these. This freaks me out. Because I feel like I am just going to damage this indefinitely. And I don't have a good... These flush cutters suck. Sorry, I keep pulling away so I can see. I don't like that. wrong at this point, you know, I'm in it. I think I'll be okay as long as I don't get a ribbon cable in this. See, I wanted to pair that I can just angle straight down, but I couldn't find one. Now I gotta be real careful because I'm hovering right over a ribbon cable. Oh, I don't like how that's sitting. I'm gonna go with it. It's probably not flush enough, but we're gonna find out. Okay, let's get the M2 door open. Which also feels like I'm gonna break it. Now I always hear that on this particular version of this mod that you can't close the M2 door after you insert it. We are going to find out. Now, typically, they want you to open up the PSP or turn it on and format this before you close it. But we're going to tape it down. Which side? Okay. Alright, sorry, I was peeling the tape off. I've seen people do this a bunch of ways. I'm going to go this way. Problem is, I'm not very good at, you know, the intricate things with my hands. Come here, you. Okay. Got that one on. When you buy the mod, they send you these two pieces of tape. And this one is supposed to go across there. I mean, I got the M2 door shut. We're going to go ahead. I probably should have test fitted this, but I'm not smart. It does feel like it's going to bulge a little, maybe. You know what? Let's put the screws in it. Let's put the screws in it and see. Let's do it in reverse here. And you should absolutely turn this on first and format that memory card. So I'm being very stupid by closing this up first. And I know I'm doing it. Okay? I'm very aware that I should not do this. But I'm going to try and have faith in my work. You guys know how I do on this channel. I do stuff I shouldn't. It feels like maybe I didn't get those cut flush enough. Feels like there's a little bulge in there. And that's all my fault. But it's something I can cope with. Because eventually I'm going to buy the power armor for this. And once I have the power armor, it'll fit fine. The power armor is a printed back for the PSP Go, so you can put a larger battery in it. You can put a Vita battery in it. I believe it's a Vita battery. And get more than double the battery life. And eventually I'm going to do that. I went back and forth on it for a while, but... So, I mean, you can't really tell. But right there, there's a slight bump where it's sitting. It'll slide open. Let's see, make sure everything turns on. It turns on. I believe I have it muted. I do. I'm going to boost the volume. Kill the brightness. Volume still works. So now we're going to go to system settings. Alright. There's system storage, which is where I have ARC4 installed, so we don't want to format that. But we do want to format the memory stick. Watch this not work. What? There it is. 57 gigs of storage, and my system storage is fine. I know that looked like a lot. I know it looked like a lot. I loaded it up with every PSP mini game I had the other day because I wanted to try them all out. So they're all like 100 meg. That's why there was so much stored on this. I just regular internal storage. But I do want to make sure everything is running right. I have a Persona 3 save file I didn't want to lose. Alright. Dark Hour. May 28th, Thursday. Oh, we are ready to go. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you throw an SD card adapter in your PSP. And for once, I just straight trusted my work and closed it up, hoping. And I did an okay job, I think. I mean, like I said, to me, I can tell there is a tiny little hump. Actually, no, there's not. Did I press it all the way in now? Oh, no, it's still there. That's how tiny it is, though. But you do hear all the time with this mod, like I said, that the M2 door doesn't close once you put it in. No. Oh, well, I guess it's a... No, it's closed. Yeah, okay. It opens real easy, but it's closed. You can see it's not sticking out. I mean, it's ready to open. You go like that, it's going to fire off of there, but look at that. Now all I got to do is add more to it. Now, something I noticed with this mod, when you look this mod up and you watch people do it, and you should definitely watch others do it, and don't take this as a guide. Take it as motivation that you can do what I just did in a matter of minutes. Because if I pulled it off with my bad hands, you should be fine. And I just kind of went for it, you know. Like I said, I've known how to do this mod for a long time. I've just never done it or ordered the part, and I finally went ahead and did it. I've been good with 16 gig well, relatively, I guess it breaks down like 14 of internal storage the whole time. I would just trade out whatever games. But recently I've wanted to keep more on it. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. And I'm very happy with it now. But there's something that you're going to come across. So if you have a PSP Go and you've already added Arc 4 or whatever, you should go Arc 4. Okay, I had the Pro C on it before. I wasn't a fan. There's a lot of plugins and stuff, but Arc 4 is still supported now. So, and they even have UMD capabilities, as you've seen on mine in the other video, that I can now launch UMD movies with Arc 4. It's a little buggy. Sometimes I'll launch a movie, it'll work fine. Sometimes I'll launch a movie, and your PSP has to restart when you launch a movie. It'll restart, it'll freeze, it'll shut down, I'll turn it back on, and I have to try again. So it's a little buggy, but it'll do it. And the one major thing I noticed, and I looked around before, is if you have a PSP Go and you've installed your custom firmware, Arc 4, Infinity, Pro C, whatever, you're going to come across the question, and you're going to think to yourself, I have the internal storage set up, and I have my games on internal storage. Do I have to do anything special with the micro SD to get games to run off of that when I have the internal storage modded? I don't know. There's no answer to that. No one covers that. But since I just did the mod, I don't have anything on the SD card because you have to format it when you put it in. So right after I end this video, before I upload it, I am going to see if there's anything I got to do, any folders I got to make, anything like that on the micro SD card to get a game to run. I'm just going to throw a game in, see if it reads it. If it doesn't, I will copy over Arc 4 folders and see if it runs it then. I will pin a comment at the top telling you what worked and what didn't. And that's just because if you watch video after video on this, adding the SD card, or video after video of modding your PSP, nowhere do they cover that. And it might be a stupid thing to cover. Most people are probably out there go, no, it works just fine. Throw a game in, duh. But if you're like me, you think through every aspect of this, and you worry about it, and you're going to be like, I don't want to corrupt a game. What if you're like me and you have 10 hours on Persona 3 and you don't want to lose it? You kind of want to know the little ins and outs, don't you? Because I do. So I'll test it, and I'll pin the comment. Another thing I noticed when it comes to the videos out there on custom firmware for your PSP or throwing an SD card adapter in your PSP, and if you want a good laugh, go to like Blaine Locklear. He does a lot of how-to and custom firmware stuff. It was actually Blaine Locklear's video that taught me how to do, or how to homebrew a 3DS. That was awesome. Retro Game Core taught me all my emulation handheld stuff. Blaine Locklear taught me my Nintendo and 3DS stuff. Go to his videos, or go to anybody's videos, Macho Nacho, any of those guys. Watch their PSP videos on adding the SD card adapter or custom firmware. You will see in the comments, and it is every other or every couple or multiple in a row, does this come with games? How do you add games? Can you show me how to add games? Can you show me where to get games? Where can I get games? How do I get games? No, we can't show you how. The moment I do that, my channel's done. Okay? What I should be saying is, legally play your own games that you own, the backups of those games. I said it. You happy? I said it. Well, but let's be real. I'm not going to say the next part, but you know what I'm thinking. However, I can't show you the places to get those. Google search is a wonderful tool. Look around. You will find it. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. You will come across, I use a specific place. It's wonderful. At this point, it's locked up. You have to have an account for it. It's all free, but for security purposes, you do an account now, and it is my favorite place. I try to be active in that community and talk to people, but yeah, those are all over. So you can go through and you can read and you can notice people like Blaine do not answer that question because he can't. And for the obvious answer of does this mod come with any games? Why would it come with any games? You're adding your own SD card in it. It's no. You got to put a blank SD card in it. So no, it doesn't come with any games. Okay? Obviously. It's I don't know. And then you also get into when you're watching Blaine's video, there's a bunch of people on there like, oh, well, you said this works for any PSP. It doesn't work for the PSP Street, which I always forget the Street exists. There's no wireless. You can't get on the internet with the Street. As far as I know, I've never had a Street. I knew of their existence years ago. I forgot they existed. When I got back into messing with PSP, I rediscovered that the Street was a thing. So yeah, let's just say you don't need to do it over the Wi-Fi. Now he does it directly on the PSP to show you don't need a computer. But if you have a Street, you're going to need a computer. You can just download and transfer the files over. Now, I could have done Arc 4 right on this, but I don't do that. No, I downloaded everything on the PC, checked everything out, transferred the files over, done. Honestly, the PSP or PSP Go has been the easiest handheld I've ever put custom firmware on or modded. And it's not like it's hard with Anbernic devices. Throw in the files, blend it, etcher, done. But when it comes to the PSP, literally 10 minutes, I had Arc 4 permanent running on there. And you just watched how long it took me to add this SD card adapter. Done. You just got to get in and do it. It's really easy. And I see those comments all the time. And sometimes I just sit there and think, you want, the fruits of this, but you don't want to do any work. And I get it. That's everywhere. That's almost anything you can do. People just want the benefit. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the research. But the nature of this is you have to do the work yourself. You're going to have to figure this out one day. So if you're sitting there just watching videos hoping one of us slip up and show you a website or whatever, good luck. It might happen. It might not. But if this is something you're interested in, then, take real interest in it. Look into it. Learn. I mean, if you got this as a hobby, if you have 4 or 5 Anbernic devices that have horrible ROM libraries on it, and you're constantly bugging people, hey, can you send me an SD card, or can you do? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's some people that just don't have a computer, just don't have what they need to do it. Those people I understand, or they're scared. But you really should just learn, because it's so easy. Once you do it, once you start doing this stuff, you're going to look back, and I'm telling you, in an hour down the road, 30 minutes, an hour, you're going to look back at yourself, just that short amount of time, and go, wow, that's obvious. That is so simple. Just learn to do it yourself. It's really easy, people. Okay? Now, I'm sorry I've been kind of venting on this, but it starts to bug you after a while, because even I get messages all the time. Can you show me where? Can you show me how? Can you do a video and show? No, I can't. I would love to. I would absolutely love to show you everything. I cannot. Now, if you get on places like Mercari and eBay, you can probably buy an SD card. No, let me rephrase that. You can buy an SD card fully loaded for any device you have. There are people on those sites that right now, as we speak, are posting a 256 gig card or a 128 gig card for whatever device, for your 35XX or one of your XX devices, or your Pal Kitty or your Miu or your Analog, and it is loaded up. All you got to do is buy it off of them, stick it in your device, and you're done. The problem is you are going to pay the cost for that SD card, which you're not going to be able to pick the brand. It might be cheap. I use cheap ones, but not that cheap. I use the Walmart on brand. They haven't failed me yet, so until they do, I'm going to keep going with those. SanDisk once in a while when I get a good deal on one, or anyway. But you're going to pay for the SD card. They're going to add a little bit to the price of that, and then they're going to charge you for their time. So you're going to pay 60, 70 bucks for a 32 or 64 gig card, and it probably took them a couple minutes to throw everything on it. They probably have a folder for this that says 32 gig card for sale, and they just copy it over and done in 10 minutes. And you can gain that ability too if you stop and learn. So it's like I tell my son. Okay, if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. They go to open a bottle or a jar, and they're like, I can't. Yeah, I tell them all the time. If do it like you mean to do it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do something, do it with purpose. You know, like you actually intended to get it done. Do it with purpose. And you should treat everything like that. Everything that you're interested in. All right. Now that I've done 10 minutes of how to do a PSP SD card adapter mod and my normal hour of me just venting and ranting and raving and you know, up on my high horse and whatnot, I don't feel like that at all. So, you know, no, I am absolutely a dirt merchant. I am down in the gutter, people. And guess what? It's fun down here. So, but we're going to end this one. Lucky you guys, back-to-back vids. I did a lot of work to get my desk and everything ready today. I'm kind of happy with it. Honestly, the space around me, though, I have camera, I have mic, I have camera. I got, like, a window to talk through. And then this camera right here is angled this way down. And then I got to go into OBS and rotate it so when I'm moving it around, some of the stuff is a little backwards. But, all right, I am going to go ahead and mess with this and add some stuff to it. I will pin that comment the moment I upload it and let you guys know whether you got to do something to the micro SD or can you just start throwing stuff in it. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully the next one will have the handheld I am waiting on. And I do got to apologize really quickly for my Cobalt Core video. I used a headset because if I do this setup, then the sound echoes because you got the mic and it's capturing and I'm hearing it, but I wanted to hear it while I was talking. It was a nightmare. So the sound, my voice is really low in that one. It's not YouTube, it's me. I was helping someone who commented, letting them know that it wasn't them, it's me. I'll get that worked out if I keep doing stuff like that. Most of my videos are like this. But hopefully that new handheld comes in tomorrow. Hopefully Friday I can do a video on it. If not, like I said in the last video, we will start out next week with a new handheld or a new old handheld for you guys to check out. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.